Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into some pretty thought-provoking stuff.
Okay.
How narcissists grapple with getting older,
Okay.
and whether our society's fixation on youthfulness actually reflects some of those same narcissistic tendencies.
Interesting.
We'll be unpacking a blog post from the Narcissistic Abuse Network titled "A Narcissist's Approach to Aging."
Right.
And I have to say, some of the points they make are downright unnerving.
Yeah, it's fascinating how individual psychology can play out on a societal level.
Right.
We're not just talking about diagnosed narcissists here,
Right.
but exploring how certain narcissistic tendencies can become dominant values in a culture.
You know, one thing that really struck me in the blog was this example of a dentist office questionnaire. They asked things like, do you think your teeth could look better? Or what don't you like about your teeth?
Oh, wow.
I mean, come on, who doesn't think their teeth could look a bit better?
That's the insidious brilliance of it.
Yeah.
These marketing tactics prey on insecurities, especially those we have about aging.
Right.
It's like they're planting seeds of doubt,
Uh-huh.
making us hyper-aware of supposed flaws we might not have even noticed before.
It's almost like they're manufacturing a problem just to sell you the solution.
Right.
You walk in feeling fine about your smile,
Exactly.
and suddenly you're convinced you need veneers. It's crazy.
That's exactly what the blog calls the discontent succumb cycle.
Wow.
They create this feeling of inadequacy
Right?
and then conveniently offer the cure,
Yeah.
often in the form of expensive products or treatments.
And it's not just about teeth, is it?
Well,
I mean, think about all the ads for anti-aging creams, hair dye, you name it.
oh yeah,
They're constantly telling us to fight the natural aging process.
absolutely. The message is loud and clear.
Right.
Youth equals beauty,
Yeah.
and aging is something to be feared and avoided at all costs.
Right.
It's a multi-billion-dollar industry built on exploiting these anxieties.
It makes you wonder, are we all internalizing these messages?
It's a good question.
Have you ever felt pressured to change something about your appearance because of marketing? I know I have.
It's a powerful force, no doubt. But to really understand how this ties into narcissism,
Right.
we need to get a bit deeper into what makes a narcissist tick.
Okay, so let's dive into Narcissism 101.
Sure.
What are the fundamental beliefs of a narcissist?
Whoa.
And how do those play into their perception of aging?
One of the core characteristics is a reliance on external validation for their sense of self-worth.
Okay.
They need constant admiration,
Right.
attention, praise to feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
It's not about inner confidence.
Right.
It's about what others reflect back to them.
So it's not genuine self-esteem. It's more like an inflated ego that needs constant feeding.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's why their sense of self is so fragile.
Right.
It's built on this external foundation. Possessions, status symbols, physical appearance.
Right.
Anything that threatens that carefully constructed image can trigger intense insecurity and anger.
So if someone tells them they're wrong or criticizes them,
Yeah.
it's not just a difference of opinion, it's a personal attack.
It can feel that way to them
Wow.
because their sense of self is so intertwined with these external markers of success.
Right.
And this brings us to the heart of the conflict.
Yeah.
How does this narcissistic mindset deal with the inevitable process of aging?
Well, aging challenges on all those superficial values they cling to.
Right.
Youth, beauty, vitality. These are all prized assets in their world, and seeing those fade can be deeply unsettling.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Their whole sense of self-worth is tied to these external things,
Right.
and aging strips those away bit by bit. It's a direct challenge to their carefully curated persona.
I'm imagining the panic a narcissist might feel seeing their first wrinkle or gray hair.
Yeah.
It's like their worst nightmare coming true. Right?
Absolutely.
All those markers of validation are slipping away.
That's why you see some people going to extreme lengths to maintain a youthful appearance.
Right.
Obsessively dyeing their hair, getting cosmetic procedures, clinging to the illusion of youth.
Yeah.
It's a desperate attempt to hold on to that external validation.
The blog post even mentions Emma Thompson speaking out against these unrealistic beauty standards.
Right.
How actresses, especially women, are pressured to look eternally young. It's like a never-ending battle against time.
It speaks to a larger issue.
Right.
Is this pressure to defy aging just a personal quirk?
Yeah.
Or is there a deeper cultural shift happening here?
Right.
Where these narcissistic values are becoming more widespread?
That's a great question, and it's one I really want to explore further.
Okay.
Zooming out a bit, what are the larger societal implications of this intense focus on external validation?
The blog makes a pretty bold argument
Okay.
that our culture as a whole is becoming increasingly narcissistic.
Hmm.
This obsession with looking young,
Right.
with projecting a perfect image on social media.
Yeah.
It all ties back to that need for external validation we were just talking about.
It's like we're defining ourselves by how many likes we get or how many followers we have instead
Right.
of focusing on who we are on the inside.
Exactly.
I know I've caught myself comparing my life to those perfectly curated Instagram feeds and feeling inadequate.
That's exactly the point.
Yeah.
We're constantly comparing ourselves to others,
Right.
chasing an ideal that's often unattainable.
Right.
And it sets us up for a never-ending cycle of wanting more, never truly feeling content with who we are.
So we're all caught up in this discontent succumb cycle,
Yeah.
just on a larger scale.
Exactly.
But what happens when a whole society starts operating on these narcissistic values? What are the consequences?
Well, the blog paints a pretty bleak picture.
Okay.
It suggests that this trend could lead to a whole host of negative consequences.
Okay.
Increased civil unrest,
Wow.
higher rates of self-harm,
Oh, no.
and even suicide. Pretty heavy stuff.
That's a pretty stark warning.
Yeah.
It makes me think about those dystopian novels where everyone is obsessed with image and conformity. It's like we're losing sight of what truly matters.
Right.
Connection,
Yeah.
compassion, authenticity.
It raises a crucial question.
Yeah.
Are we unwittingly buying into these narcissistic values?
Hmm.
Are we so bombarded with these messages that we don't even realize how they're shaping our thoughts and behaviors?
You know, it's funny.
Yeah.
We started talking about narcissists and aging,
Right?
and now we're talking about the potential collapse of society.
Right.
It seems like there's a lot at stake here.
I think that's the power of this deep dive.
Yeah.
It's not just about understanding narcissism as a personality disorder.
Right.
It's about recognizing how these tendencies can manifest in all of us
Right.
and how they can impact our culture.
So if this focus on external validation is such a problem,
Yeah.
if it's feeding this narcissistic cycle, both individually and societally,
Uh-huh.
is there a way to break free? Is there an antidote, so to speak?
The blog offers some hopeful suggestions.
Okay.
It talks about the importance of shifting our focus from me to we.
Okay.
Cultivating a sense of community,
Right.
shared experience,
Mm-hmm.
helping others.
Yeah.
These are all things that can counteract those narcissistic impulses.
So instead of being consumed with our own image and our own wants,
Right.
we need to start focusing on something larger than ourselves.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it also suggests embracing aging as a natural process,
Okay.
a source of wisdom and growth
Mm-hmm.
rather than decline.
I love that.
Yeah.
Instead of fearing wrinkles and gray hair,
Right.
we should see them as badges of honor, signs of a life well lived.
And perhaps most importantly,
Okay.
it emphasizes finding fulfillment in genuine connections and making meaningful contributions to the world.
It sounds like we need a total values makeover.
Right.
Instead of chasing fleeting external validation,
Mhm.
we need to find something more lasting and substantial.
Right.
It's about cultivating internal validation,
Exactly.
recognizing our inherent worth regardless of what the outside world tells us.
You hit the nail on the head. It's about rejecting those shallow values that narcissism promotes and embracing a more authentic way of life,
Right.
one that values connection, compassion, and inner peace.
It's not about denying our individuality or rejecting the desire for achievement.
Right.
It's about finding a balance.
Yeah.
Recognizing that true fulfillment comes from a place of inner peace and connection,
Uh-huh.
not from chasing external validation.
That's the key takeaway here.
Yeah.
It's a profound message.
Right.
And it's something I think we all need to hear in today's world.
We've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
We started by exploring how narcissists view aging,
Right.
delving into their reliance on external validation,
Mhm.
and how the aging process challenges their carefully constructed self-image.
Yeah.
Then we zoomed out to consider the bigger picture,
Okay.
how our society might be mirroring these narcissistic tendencies with its obsession with youth and perfection. But here's where it gets really interesting. What if, instead of accepting this culture of superficiality and discontent,
Yeah.
we actively challenged it?
Interesting.
What if we could rewrite the beauty standards promoted by the media?
That's a powerful question.
Right.
It would require a fundamental shift in our values.
Yeah.
What would it look like to celebrate wisdom,
Uh-huh.
resilience,
Yeah.
and the beauty that comes with a life fully lived?
Right.
instead of constantly chasing youth and flawlessness.
Imagine if wrinkles were seen as badges of experience,
Yeah.
laugh lines as testaments to a life filled with joy,
Mm.
and silver hair as a crown of wisdom.
It would be a radical departure from the current narrative,
Right.
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that true beauty comes in all shapes, sizes, and ages. It's about embracing diversity and appreciating the unique qualities that make each of us special.
It feels like we're at a crossroads.
Yeah.
We can either continue down this path of superficiality and insecurity,
Right.
or we can forge a new path. One based on genuine connection and inner fulfillment.
It's a choice we're making every day,
Right.
whether we're aware of it or not.
Yeah.
Every time we buy into those airbrushed images,
Mhm.
every time we compare ourselves to others,
Uh-huh.
we're reinforcing those narcissistic values.
But we also have the power to choose differently,
Yeah.
to focus on building authentic connections, to appreciate the beauty in imperfection,
Right.
find joy in the simple things.
And to embrace the aging process.
Yeah.
Not as something to be feared,
Right.
but as an opportunity for growth and self-discovery,
Yes.
to see the beauty and the wisdom and experience that come with getting older.
I think this deep dive has really challenged me to rethink my own priorities, to be more mindful of the messages I'm consuming
Right.
and the values I'm promoting both in my own life and in the world around me.
That's the beauty of these conversations.
Yeah.
They invite us to question, to
Yeah.
reflect, and to consider new possibilities. To step outside the prevailing narrative and ask ourselves, what do I truly value?
So as you go about your day, I encourage you to reflect on this.
Okay.
What beauty standards do you want to uphold? What values do you want to reflect in your own life and in the world around you?
It's a question worth pondering.
Yeah, it is.
And with that, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into narcissism,
Okay.
aging, and the search for authenticity.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
We hope this exploration has sparked some thought-provoking insights
Yeah.
and perhaps even inspired some positive shifts in your perspective.
Remember, the journey towards authenticity and fulfillment is ongoing.
Yeah.
Keep questioning, keep evolving,
Right.
and keep embracing the beauty of your own unique journey.
Until next time, keep exploring,
Yes.
keep questioning,
Uh-huh.
and keep diving deep.